want to show you guys how I make my journal step by step. Welcome, it's Winnie from Bella Sunshine. I'm going on vacation with my hubby in a couple of weeks and I wanted to make a journal to take with me. I had made this Buzz into Spring a month or so ago, I think. And I said that I was going to make a second one. And I was going to do a tutorial on how I made this. And it's still in my plan. But I wanted to show you guys this quick, I'm hoping this is going to be a quick thing for me to make my journal. I had to take Moon out because she takes all over my desk and I need the space. I wasn't sure what theme I was going to use to make this journal. This would have been perfect, but it's a bit too thick for me. I didn't want something this much. But I do know I wanted something that has writing space in them because I can't write straight. I am so happy Susanna from Nonstop Papercraft has a new kit called Dear Dragonfly. And the freebies that she has on her Facebook group is perfect for me. She has these pages that has lines in them. Hopefully y'all can see the line. It's really faint, but it's there. I can easily see it in person. I'm just not sure if the camera is capturing it. But she has them in color as green and pink and blue. So I am going to be using her freebies, Dear Dragonfly. The first step is going to be getting the digitals that you're going to be using to make your journal. So if you need to print them out, go ahead and print out your pages. I went ahead and printed them out the two-sided. And so with mine, as you guys know, my computer does not do a borderless printing. And so I always have this small little border. So the second step for me is to remove these white border. And let me show you guys how I do that. The tool I use is called a Paint Shield Protector. I got this as A, so you can probably get this at your local hardware store. I like using this because it helps me, I have a way to hold on to it like this, rather than a ruler where it has to be flat and you're tearing. So I like this one better because I can just keep holding this. And so all I do is I just put it in there like this. And it doesn't give you a straight line, which I kind of like. And there is white to it, which is fine for me because I'm going to go ahead and ink it anyway. And so I do this while I'm watching a video because it is a long process. So if you got, see, I just love, you know, it gives you kind of a different look to your page. If you have one that's like, you know, there's too much white. Let's see, let me do another one here. So like this, for instance, you see, I know it's not straight, which is okay. But if I think that's too much white for me to cover up with my ink, I'm just gonna go ahead and trim it with a scissor. That's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my pages for this project. Once you have all the border out, the next step would be to figure out if you're going to have just a regular corner. I wanted to do a rounded corner on mine. So what I have to do first is I need to go ahead and fold my paper in half like this. And I'm going very lightly. I am not like really, I'm not even using my bone folder to fold these paper. So you just need to do it lightly so you can go ahead and do your corners if you wanted to. Even if you're not doing your corner rounding thing, you still want to just do a lightly lightly folding, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, as you can see, I already have most of my pages already for this. And depending on your punch, let's see, mine has to take 2 to make it easier. And so all I'm doing is this. And of course, you guys don't need this punch. You can use a scissor. And so that's all I do to get my corners. I learned this process by Lori B from Grungy Girl Journals. This is what she does to make her journal, well, part of the process. This is what she does to make them look grungy. So I have very small hand, and they're pretty weak, so I try not to do too many pages. And I'm gonna have a couple of signature in this journal, so I kind of like to mix up my pages. I don't want to do one signature and put them all together. I want a mixture. So these are all going to be in different signatures here. So what I do is I start rolling them. You just roll them up. You still want to be gentle, especially on the edges. And then you just kind of, you know, try to make your rolling really tight. Like this. Open them up, and then you want to go on the other side of folding. You open, and then you do like the top. It's kind of like you're kneading your paper, you know, when you knead your dough. This is what it seems like. And so I'll do this multiple times. You know, I'll kind of put this on the other side, and I also do, see, as you can see, there's already like a rip right here, which I am perfectly okay with it. And then I also do this. And I'm gonna go ahead, and this, if you don't, you know, I kind of like that. So that's kind of what I'm after. And of course, in the middle, you just have to be careful with, you know, if you don't want it to tear all the way, just be careful when you're folding them. So I'm gonna keep going on kneading my paper. And I normally do this when I'm watching TV or a show with my husband, because it does take me a while. And the thicker your, you know, whatever you're handling, it's gonna be a lot harder. So I tend to do just a couple of pages together because it's a lot easier for me. Your arm does get a workout doing this. So when you are satisfied with your grunginess and you want to call it done, then all I do to kind of, you see how they just kind of roll, right? Of course you can kind of maneuver them. Just kind of, the easiest way to do this is I would separate them like this. So I kind of have them like this, and this makes it easier to kind of unfold them a little bit. And then if you want it flatter just a little bit, I'll just put something heavy on top and let it sit there. I have 2 signatures that are ready to be inked. It's going to be the next step. Let me show you guys what it looks like when it's all inked. And let's see the inside. You have one there. And the way I inked is I'll take individual pages like this, and I'm holding them gently, but not too gently. I allow kind of like folding when I'm inking like this. I think I need more ink. So when I'm inking this way, I just kind of do it roughly, and it adds more grunginess on my pages when I do them individually. And then I open this up. Oh, I didn't do the center. And then I open this up, kind of refold it a little bit, and then do the same thing. And then you can go as light, as dark as you want. It all depends on you. So what I would do is I'm gonna go ahead and ink the rest of my pages off camera. I still got a lot of pages to do. I have 3 signatures to do. So this is probably the most time consuming, is getting your signatures ready to be sewn in. And because of these long process, I like to do them when I'm comfortable sitting in my recliner and watching a movie, because I can ink and grunge without thinking. And there's more step with Lori as far as how she grunge her paper. I didn't do all of it, so if you guys want to check out her YouTube channel, I will leave her link below. So with me, I'm going to do this later tonight. And now that we have an idea, well, not an idea, but we have our signatures ready, we know the size, we can go ahead and work on the cover. This is inspired by Barbara from 49 Dragonflies, and I'm making a soft cover using a paper bag. So all you have to do is just take this apart like this. So once you have that, you can go ahead and just kind of cut off just to have a straight line. You can cut that off. Now I will leave Barbara's link on the description, so if you guys want to watch her, she can probably explain it a lot better than I can. So I'm just going to go through this really quick. Then once you have that, if it's not going to be tall enough, as you can see, this is not what I'm going to use. I'm just kind of showing you guys what I do with the paper bag. If it's not tall enough, you would have to open this up like this, and then cut it if you need to, or you might end up having to open up both like this, and then you would have plenty. So with this one, I'm using a Chipotle bag, and I have mine already cut to the size that I need it for. So this is how I figured out my length. My length for my paper is, my signature is at 8 inches. So I just added a ½ inch because I want a quarter on the top and on the bottom. I think that's plenty enough room for, I guess, a little border. Then for the width, it's a little bit more complicated, but I'm not sure if this formula works. Excuse me. I had to put all my signatures together. As you can see, I have way too much, so I'm only using half of this. And for each signatures I have 6 pages. So to figure out the width of my paper bag, this is what I had to do. To kind of figure out the width, I went to check to see how an inch of a spine would be for this. If we were to do a hardcover, this is what it would look like for half an inch. I mean, an inch of a spine. It looks like it would be plenty. You can probably go a little bit more if you're going to embellish a lot. So I'm thinking I want to add half an inch to my spine. So my spine is going to be at 1.5. And my signature, the measurement on this one, when I'm measuring, it falls right close to the half mark right here. So this is, when it's unfolded, this is 10.5. You fold it in half, is 5.25. So I'm going off with just a tiny bit, and I'm gonna go at 5.5. So if my signature is sitting at 5.5 times 2 is 11, then my spine is 1.5, then it's 12.5 is what I need. So for my paper bag, I need a 12.5. And when you look at it, this is what it would look like, something like this. And I think that's gonna be enough for it to grow. Making my own book cover from scratch and using fabric is out of my comfort zone, so I tend to stay away from it. So I decided to use wallpaper as the cover for the outside and the inside as a base. Now, I didn't show you guys on the process that I did because when I was editing it, it was really confusing. If you guys want to do what Barbara did on fabric, please watch her video because she explains it so much better than I can. The only thing that I wanted to show you guys was the little trick that I don't know if you guys seen it, but it did make it a lot easier for me. So as you can see, I attached a magnet here. And to do that, I'm going to show you guys a trick on how I did it. As you can see, there's a magnet here. There's already one inside here. I taped it up and I glued around it so I know that the magnet is not going to move. Then once you have that, you need to figure out where to put the magnet here. To make it easier, this is what I had to do. I went ahead and I'm kind of placing this in to where I want it to be, like this. Well, I can't see. Let's see. I want to make sure it's kind of in the middle like this. So once you kind of figure out, okay, that's where I want this flap to be, I'm going to go ahead and I want to do like a mark on my, put a little ink on that magnet so I know where to place it. Let's see if you can see the red dot? That's where I need to place my magnet. So to place that, all you would have to do is so with this one, that means, I don't know if you guys can still see the ink on the magnet. That needs to be glued down. So if you were taping this up, this is what I would do. I would take this magnet off, connect the red dot like that, and then tape or glue. I'm gonna tape it first because then if it doesn't work, then I can take off the tape and then redo it. But once it's all set and done, then we should be able to go ahead and glue around it so we know it's gonna stay. So there it is, it's taped. So here, and it seems like Yes, our magnet is working. You hear that click? It's closed. When I'm crafting, my rule of thumb is if I'm not enjoying it, that means I'm doing something wrong. I need to step back and take a break. And that's what I had to do with this cover. When I came back to it, I decided, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew it and put it all together, and maybe I will change my mind and actually like it. And I actually don't. There's a couple of reasons. One is there is air bubble inside my cover. And I think it's because I didn't glue it down like Barbara did with the fabric. I only did certain glue just to kind of hold it in place, and that was it. The other thing is this thing is very thick because I did wrap around the paper bag into my my wallpaper, and so I think that's what made it thicker. And even in here, I decided to cover this up. Barbara didn't do that. So on this side, it's very thick. It's thicker than on this side. The other thing is not very flexible. It's a little bit rigid. It's still kind of a medium soft cover, but it's not as soft as I thought it would be. So I know I'm not going to be happy with carrying this thing around, and it's not going to motivate me to actually journal. So I decided to get out of my comfort zone and do a book cover from scratch using fabric. So here's my fabric cover. This is the front. And as you can see, my sewing, it's a little wonky. I tried so hard to do it straight. And the more I tried, the more it gets crooked. So even my cutting, I don't know. Overall, I'm good with this cover. I think I'll make it work. And this is the inside. And let me show you guys the inside of the pocket. Looks like that. There's the paper bag. The only thing I would do different with this, with Barbara, she used pure PVA glue. She used this textile glue when she glued her flap in here. I did the same thing, but I'm using Line Cove. And in this area, it's a little bit stiffer. And I think it's because the amount of glue I use. I think next time I would go ahead and water it down also. Let me show you guys what it would look like with their signature. It looks like we got plenty of room in there to grow. I did add 2 more pages per signature, so now there's 8 pages per signature. And the next step I did was I made a template for the cover, and then I made one for the signature. So I probably should put this in here. And I am doing a 5-hole stitch in here. So you can see there's the X's. And then we have 3 signatures. So this here is 1.5 inches apart. And that makes it an inch. I think that's going to be okay there. So now we need to put our holes in here, make it easier for us to sew. What we need to do is put this, we fold this up, and then we just need to line up our template in there the best that we can, like it's the center. And I'm going to go ahead and pin that. So this is what I have. You can do masking tape if you want to kind of try to figure out where where to place your template. But I think with my pin is pretty good, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and punch the hole. I'm going to use my awl. And you are just going to kind of do where it's a little bit hard. See, I don't want to make my hole too big, so I'm just gonna continue to do that. As you can see, there's one right there, and then I'm gonna go finish that up. So here's my cover. I have the holes, and as you can see, before I take off my clip, I want to make sure I can see all the holes. It looks like over here I need to do more. Like over here I can barely see it, and here. So once you have your cover ready, then the next step is going to be doing the signature. And I have this one all clipped and ready to go. And so we have this, and all I do with this is I place it, line it up, and I use a red pen to, where's my red? Well, as you can see, there is red dots right there. And I know that's where I need to punch the hole. So I take my cradle and just making sure my signature is placed. And then I just go ahead and punch, because I can see the red mark is right here. Like that. And I do the same thing. So here are my signature with all the holes punched, as you can see there. So now we're ready to go ahead and sew this into our cover. And before I needed to do that, I had to figure out how to do the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. This is kind of the first time that I'm doing a 5-hole where I have to worry about what the outside thread is going to look like, because normally I do a hidden spine where you can't see the thread. So on this one, we're going to be able to see the thread here. So I wanted to make sure that it looks right. So with that, I went ahead and did some practice so I can make it simple for you guys. So you see there are red markings and there are black markings. So when it's red, that means your needle is coming from the inside. So you're going to go from the inside, and anything that says black, oh, I forgot to put 2 here. 2 is here. And if it's black, that means your needle is coming from the back. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys one, and that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So take your first signature, and you need, the thread that you'll need is about the 3 length. You know, you do the 1, 2, and 3, and that's probably how much you need it. And I already have one already right here. Oh, and now we can go ahead and take this off. And now we need to go ahead and take our first signature, and then we just need to go from the inside, right? So we're going from the inside. Where is our cheat sheet here? Just so you guys can see. So that's going to be the second hole. So I'm going from the second hole here. Like this. And I just need to make sure I leave some thread so I can tie it. I'm just going to clip it to this. Okay. Now you need to go ahead and find your first. Here's our first hole. I know it's going to be hard to tell, but here's my second one. And that's on the right signature, because this is our first signature. So you just pull it. Like that. And then number 2 is black. It's the black number, which means you're going from the outside. So you need to find your first hole here, which is right here. It's coming out this way. And then you need to go through the signature and there's the number 2. And then we need to go to number 3, which is the middle one, and that's from the inside. And it's okay if it's not tight yet, because I'm just trying to show it to you guys. There it is. There's 3. And then we need 4 is from the outside. So here's 4. Whoops. Okay, there's 4. And then the 5 is red, so it's going to go inside. You think it would be easy. It's hard when I can't see that far, because I'm trying to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. So 5 is right there, and we're finding the inside. Yes. So far that's what we have. Okay. Now when you are going to this right here, make sure you are not putting your needle in between the thread. You want to be in the hole, but you don't want to split this thread, because if you do that, then you're not going to be able to tighten your thread. Okay, so I'm going to do that off camera here, because I really need to look at it. You see that? I split that thread. And where's my needle? Oh, it's right here. So I just wanna, it's right in my thread, so I just need to get it off. So here's what it looks like for 6. As you can see, we got a nice line. And then the 7 is gonna go, oh, you know what, I messed up here. 7 is actually supposed to be red. So we're gonna do 7. Cause see, this is, we came from 6 from the outside, so this is 6, then 7 is gonna go here. So we got 7 right here, and now we're on 8, which is coming from the outside right here. So when you have the 8, so you can see we have it all together. When you have the 8, you see where my needle is coming. This thread is on the right side. We want this thread to be coming the opposite. So it's gonna go like this, the opposite of this other one that we had in the beginning. So when you tie it, it's gonna tie this in half, which is what we're looking for. But before you tie this, you need to make sure your signature is nicely tight. As you can see, mine is not tight because I'm just trying to show you guys. But this is kind of what you are after. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the signature off camera, because I really need to look pretty close. So again, let me show you the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. This is what you guys need to do. If you guys want to take a picture, let me also give you an option of, if you are going to be doing a 6-hole pamphlet stitch like Barbara did. Here's what my template looks like. As you can see, everything is neat. And so I'm going to put them side by side so you guys can have both. Again, the red is your needle is going from the inside to go outside. And then the black ink or the black number is coming from the outside to go inside. I thought making this journal was going to be quick and easy, and it was actually the opposite. But I am so glad that I bit the bullet and decided not to continue with this cover and decided to go ahead and do a fabric one. I am really liking the feel of this journal, the size of it, everything about it so far. I think I'm going to enjoy carrying this with me and working on it. I still have time before my vacation, so I want to take the time to really focus on decorating the front and embellishing, adding some pockets inside. So hopefully in a week or so, I can show you guys the final flip through. But again, you guys, I thank you so much. I really do appreciate it that you guys are continuing to support and watch my channel. Until next time, happy crafting.